Hello, I'm your host, Mary-Laurence Bevington, with today's Communicate and Magical Calendar. Title is Curves and Edges, super long subtitle on Transcending Drama, Mercury direct slash Saturn retro slash lunar node shift slash full moon in the hopper. Outer Planets Sing, three tenor style, and a magical calendar, July 19th to the 29th, 2026. Okay, buckle up, everybody. Here we go. As humans, we fluctuate our roles with each other. Usually there's a payoff because desire is the ultimate fuel on Goddess's green earth. The playwright Aristotle understood this. He staged action that moved from heart-opening happy to heart-wrenching tragedy. Audiences found themselves warmed by positive vibes, then in a flash, sinking deep into their sorrow, or in reverse, people's tears released into laughter. Then and now, this pattern's wired into us. The drama mask perches alongside the comedy mask. The wide eye of the hurricane's invariably followed by a storm surge and an eventual rainbow. This pattern rests at the heart of Earth School curricula far and wide. We're meant to accept it. Though all can take time, we must break on through to the other side of our Groundhog Days, as in the ones that repeat ad nauseum. We do so when we fully realize that we're co-creating. Yes, we have a say. As a matter of fact, we have the say in our lives, as in we don't have to submit to puppeteers calling the shots above our heads, such as the curves and edges that we must love in our lives, in ourselves, for within them lies a hidden invitation, an invitation that may take tens of thousands of lifetimes to learn, but must be grokked in this thing called life. The invitation, which is this communique's message in a bottle, is drum roll, please. In the face of the twists and turns of our existence and bodies, we must eventually transcend, soar above, see from the thousand-petaled lotus of our crown chakras. P.S. The number 42 is also important. Otavalo, Ecuador photo. This is an amazing photo. Actually, Timothy Cohen took it, licensed by Unsplash. There's a woman at market, probably at market. It looks like she's in a market stall and she's got all these textiles with fantastic embroidery on them and she's lying down on the table. So I commented on it, such beauty all around the subject and what might be happening. Long day or sleepy, bereaved or relieved that something long awaited has come. I have a hunch, but I'm curious, what do you see? I'm aware that as I say that, some of you might not be able to see the photo because the photos don't transfer to all the platforms I publish on. Okay, we got another one. This one's really cool. I love both of these photos. This one's Eagle's Nest, Banner Elk, North Carolina, US. And Kaylin Bacher took it, also licensed by Unsplash. In Shambhala, a Shangri-La place, the rising sun provides hope for a better tomorrow. So yeah, it's a sunset, and you can really tell the Appalachian Mountains. There are many places on Earth that have mountains that look like this. At one point, the Appalachians were higher than Mount Everest, they believe, and they eroded down, down, down to where they are today. They're thought to be the oldest mountains that we know of on Earth. And so they're little, but they're several in a row, ridge behind ridges, and the sun behind them creates all these effects of high def in the foreground and then kind of a fade out to the background. All right, let's continue. Saturn retrogrades, and a couple days later, the two lunar nodes shift to Aquarius. Woo! Energy we soar towards, and Leo energy we soar away from. So, um, I don't want to go super deep into all the astrology, so I'm just going to actually do a little bit of a repeat on what I did last week, just because I just also did this interview that has a little bit to do with the lunar nodes. It's with my friend Carrie Hayes, who just did the Tour Divide, rode 2,716 miles from Canada to Mexico, bike packing on a bike. It's like backpacking, but you're on a bike. Super rad. But I feel like there's all this astrology happening right now, and you'll see it in the calendar in just a second. You're probably aware of it because everyone's talking about it right now if you tune in. But people aren't talking about the eclipses as much, and I feel like the eclipses are adding this extra layer. So I'm just doing a total repeat from last week. Okay, here we go. Speaking of the lunar nodes, eclipse seasons here just began around July 12th. We'll build towards Luna coming between Earth and Sun to create the first eclipse on August 12th, a total solar at 20 degrees 2 minutes of Leo. The totality pathway slash the center of Luna's shadow finds a tiny bit of Russia at sunrise, then paves over the North Atlantic, Greenland, Iceland, Spain, and a smidge of Northwest Portugal. A partial lunar eclipse occurs on August 27, 28 at 4 degrees, 4 minutes of Pisces. Oh, I love Pisces. We have, I don't mean to be favorites with the signs, but I'm a person. I have favorites. I have preferences. Okay, so I do have a couple footnotes there. They're basically just links to websites where you can look at the pathway, which is kind of sweet. So the cosmos sing. And yeah, that's what we got. So let's go right into the calendar because there's so much that's, again, I'm repeating myself, but this is why I've kept the commentary really chill. Just it's, overwhelming at some point. We're full. So why do we have a magical calendar from July 19th to the 29th at Eastern Daylight Time, Greenwich Mean Time -5 hours? Why? Because with a magical calendar, you can plan out your magical life. Yes, sirree, Baba Joe Ellen. Okay, so starting with yesterday. Yesterday, July 19th, Mars sextile Saturn at 2:11 p.m. Now, Saturn's readying to change positions late in July, as mentioned in Aries, a sign Mars rules. Mars is hot-headed in Gemini, but if he finds the right direction, he'll take you there. Lucky for us, the sextile has a milder potency and can swing us into the sweetness. So you're going to hear there's sextiles and trines are kind of part of the story in the sky right now. So harmonious, kind of cool. Sextiles are not as strong as trines. They're 60 degrees, trines are 120 degrees, and the trine reminds me of when Crosby, Stills, Nash, I'll put Young in there too, really nail their harmonies. That's what a trine is. It's just beautiful. Okay, the energy of that sacred relationship up in the sky. July 20th, Luna and Libra, Jupiter trine Neptune. So there's a trine right there, the expansive planet Jupiter trining with our spiritual but also delusional planet Neptune. Jupiter has a shadow side too. They all do. They all have their exaltations and their falls. And we have to always keep that in mind because we as humans also have our exaltations and our falls. So Jupiter trine Neptune conditions for awakening. And 7+ hours later, Jupiter opposes Pluto, conditions for tug of war. So yeah, when I did the psychic read on that, I just was seeing the expansiveness of Jupiter, but then the demolition of Pluto, I often liken him to Shiva in my mind. The greatest destroyer is what Shiva in the pantheon of Hindu gods is sometimes called. And he's certainly worshipped by Shaivites, people who are super into Shiva, but he takes it all away. He renounces. Everything changes in his presence. Same with Pluto. And when you have an expansion of that and an opposition, which is intense, I always think of the face-off in sports. So think hockey is a really good one. If you've seen Heated Rivalry, they show a lot of face-offs because it's very much part of the drama of the two protagonists also being in love in that story. Okay, so that's why I saw conditions for tug of war. July 21st, Luna void of course at 7:06 a.m. Same time she shifts to her second quarter, so she'll appear like a half moon in the sky, very balanced. At 9:35 a.m., she enters Scorpio, a sign in which she is in her fall, so emotions may run high. So there we have that whole fall thing. And that's something that we want to pay attention to because we're so often talking about conditions, and astrology is like this vast kaleidoscope. So generally, myself included, we interpret it in as simple a way as possible because it gets so overwhelming. The trap there is that we can sometimes simplify too much. So it gets very binary sometimes, and we forget that there's binaries even within binaries that are also all part of a united consciousness. And so we don't always want to say, oh, Leo is good, because if Leo is in um, bad conditions, like that expansion opposition with Pluto, it might not always be good. And I meant to say Jupiter, not Leo then, but Leo and Jupiter kind of do a little dance together. Okay, hence my little misspeaking there. Okay, let's carry on. July 21st. This is also my friend Kathy and my friend Tracy's birthday. It's also the day that the lunar landing happened in 1969. Okay, July 21st, Jupiter sextile Uranus at 7:11 a.m. I just love that time. So many surprises may find us. So many, so many. Okay, yeah, because when Jupiter is in that harmony, that can feel really cool. But then you have this planet like Uranus, anything goes. Sky, and electricity and revolution. And then Jupiter, the great expander. So yeah, we'll see what happens. July 22nd, Sun enters Leo at 3:13 p.m. Luna leaves Leo at 5:48 p.m. for over 24 hours. Eyes on the skyline, people. It's a long lunar transit. Okay, Mercury, semi-sextile Mars, as in Mr. Mars, at 2:47 a.m. Mild and fleeting, the semi-sextile, but our thoughts may feel fierce. So that's a 30-degree angle between Mercury and Mars. And yes, it is mild and fleeting, so weak, but we just may get our brains stirred up a bit because of the Mercury factor. And then Mars has his shades of drive, but also aggression. We shall see. Okay, July 23rd, Venus quincunx Saturn. So that is a hard angle, but I say leverage this one for good because Venus and Saturn are sometimes thought as beneficent and malevolent, respectively. Venus is in a really interesting position right now. Evening star, come very early October, I think she goes retrograde. So she's kind of in this weird zone right now. Saturn's about to go retrograde too. So he thought of often as malevolent, especially in ancient times, has a weight to him. He's heavy, structured, he's the bones. And when they're in hard angle, what I initially read is we may feel this in our relationships. Definitely romantic, definitely familial, because Saturn is fatherly, Venus is more romantic love, and power struggles may happen. So I just kept it really simple with leverage for good. And guess what? July 23rd, also Mercury goes direct, as in the big D, and Luna arrives in Sag finally at 9:07 p.m. That was a really long lunar transit, and it will feel really good when Mercury goes direct. We still have the shadow, that afterglow orb of influence time of Mercury having been in retrograde. But we are so good at Mercury retrogrades. We go through three of them a year. We have it down pat. We're great at this. We'll be fine. Okay, let's keep moving on. July 24th, Mercury sextile Venus at 12:13 p.m. So that might be interesting. You might have like opposite of Elvis Presley's song, you might have a little more conversation with your love, but it could feel really good. I always think of Mercury and Venus together in harmony because they in the mist they were together. Venus had a few lovers along the way, but she kind of had three biggies. And one was a blacksmith, and one is, of course, Mars, and one is Mercury. So she had a few others that were famous too, but those were kind of the three main ones, Vulcan, Hephaestus guy, and Mercury and Mars, and definitely not a virginal goddess, Venus. Hey, guess what? July 24th, Luna's in Sagittarius all day long. So after all of these big transits that we've had, with Luna being in between sign for such long times, it's going to feel really good sometimes when she's in sign, really grounded. So that was July 24th. Let's go on to the 25th of July, Neptune sextile Pluto at 1:49 a.m. Okay, so got a big read here. Keep in mind, all's kind of happening with Neptune and Uranus and trine all three outer planets for the win. And one of the reasons why these moments are so off the hook slash low key rad. Yeah, the outer planets, man. So they've been at, like 4 degrees at the beginning of it's like the first decan of their signs, and in these trines and air, fire, air. And it's just, everyone's like, when did this ever happen before? This is so cool. And it's also why things are happening that are just literally unearthing the subterranean underbelly of all things, including in our deep souls and centers. Yay. Okay, July 25th. Buckle up for another long lunar transit starting at 10:58 a.m. The 26th Luna makes it to Capricorn at 9:44 a.m. July 26th, Saturn retrograde. Yeah, so retrogrades were always in this reflection time. So we are looking inward. So that structure, heavy weightedness of Saturn, the power struggles, the fatherly energy, it goes inside. And it'll be there for a little while. So yeah, we got that going for us. So just, another opportunity to build our characters and grow. Yay, we grow through what we go through. Ah, I also put the numbers 726 there because I really like the song by the band Goose called 726, and it'll actually be July 26th. So 726. Yay. Okay. July 27th, Sun opposes Pluto, then trines Neptune, then sextiles. I put textiles, must have been an autotype. Okay. Uranus. Can you say serious inner transformation? Now that's all happening in one day, all with the sun, which represents ourselves. So she's opposite, or he, I think of the sun as he, him, though there's a lot of cultures actually that think of the sun as a she, believe it or not. Sun opposes Pluto, trines Neptune, then sextiles Uranus. So outer planets and the self are getting very involved. That's why I said, can you say serious in a transformation? July 28th, a couple days later, the two lunar nodes shift to Aquarius. Aquarius. When the moon is in the seventh house. July 29th, Venus square Mars at 3:10 a.m. Sun conjunct Jupiter aligns with Mars. Jupiter at 8:18 a.m. That's a full moon in Leo. Damn. So 7 degrees, 30 minutes at 10:36 a.m. So it's in the first decan. So that's fire upon fire. So we've got the sign of Leo, ruled by our friend Jupiter, and our sun exalts, and we've got all that magnified when it's in the first 10 degrees of the sign. So, oh man, so much, so much. Okay, I will do a little more in between now and then because this is a long calendar. It's like 10, 11 days. But I'm going to a conference, so I gotta do a lot of juggling, bow-buggling. So I will try to get a few more things out, but I don't have any big promises. I will under-promise and over-deliver is what I shall do. And special thanks to Alex, Ada, Big Ricky, Deanna, Ginger, Jude, Kelly, KM, Lara, Laura M, Lazardsky, Marnie, PJ, Peggy, Fally, Siegel, Soster, Terry, Tina Z, and Churros. Calendar inspirations based on data from the Well in 2026 Astrological Daily Ephemeris and Aspectarian. So yeah, the footnotes were from NASA's eclipse picture and the moon calendar AstroSeek on the full moon stuff. Ba-ba-da-da. All for now, friends. Till tomorrow, and in carrying the light. I'm your host, Mary-Laurence Bevington. Bye.